Hello and welcome to Spirit Talk Show. I'm your host, Doyle. I am here with my friends reading AI generated stories. I'm not going to say it's an experiment anymore because I've been saying that for our whole season. It's not an experiment, it's what we do. We read AI generated stories, Spirit Talk Show, bedtime stories for grown-ups. And the stories, of course, are generated on the spot and we don't know what's going to come up. And sometimes it has some really funny results. And then we talk about what happens and what we see. If you guys would like to get involved, you can go to spirittalkshow.com and all the information you can find about past shows and where to hear us is on there. And of course, I like to have friends in the studio with me. And I have my BFF for F. Howie is in the studio with me. Hey, Howie.
Hey, Doyle. How's it going?
So you're keeping busy with these concerts you're doing with all the candles and stuff.
Yeah. We're surrounded by like 2,500 candles on stage, and
Wow.
that's the only light in the entire auditorium, just the ambient light of the candles, and it can be kind of romantic.
Are there any actual lit candles or are they all fake?
They're all fake.
All fake, okay. Maybe they probably can't do lit candles, can they?
No, that would be pretty dangerous, and it would get kind of warm in there. But they flicker. Just like real candles.
Okay, so it's all fake, kind of like AI-generated stories, right? So what else are you up to?
Well, still singing the Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus. We just embarked on our 40th, starting our 40th season.
40 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so at the time this show will be broadcast sometime in mid-November, our concert will only be a few weeks away. So if you guys would like to get tickets, they might be all sold, but go to Sac Gaymen's. Oh my gosh, am I saying it wrong? What's the website?
SacGayMen'sChorus.com.
SacGaymen'sChorus.com. You can get tickets for our holiday hits with a splash of sass. Okay, that's just so dorky that we did that. And the people listening will just hear like click, click, click. They have no idea what we just did. But come to our concert and you'll see the fun thing that we do whenever we say those words. I don't want to say it's the same again. Okay, and you have a niece who just started school, so all your nieces and nephews are in school now.
Yeah, all four of them are in school now. My 5-year-old niece just started kindergarten, and it was really cute. And the first day of school, she called the cafeteria the restaurant.
The restaurant. I think she got
lost in the restaurant.
She got a little anxious. So we were in a building in Sacramento called the Coloma Community Center, I think it is. And you went to school here.
I actually did. My kindergarten year was here at Coloma, just literally across the hall from where we are right now.
So there's a legend about this boy who went to school here in kindergarten, and he like kicked his teacher and ran home. Did you know anybody about that might be involved?
I might know something about that. Yeah.
So tell us this story. So you were in kindergarten. What were you upset about?
I was excited to go to school, but then when I got there, I freaked out. I remember freaking out, thinking, "Oh no, this is not what I thought it was going to be."
Yeah.
And I kicked my teacher. I was on the floor and I was throwing a tantrum, and I kicked my teacher in the shin, and I ran out of the school, and I ran all the way home. I live close to the school, but I don't know how I made it home. I don't know how I found my way home.
So you're having a tantrum on the ground. You were having a tantrum. So you're a little bit of a high maintenance queen then too, right?
You might say that.
He's not a high maintenance queen right now. He's a queen, but not high maintenance. Okay, so I don't know if you're a queen. What is a queen as opposed to a regular gay man?
I don't know. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I'm a queen.
You're not a queen.
No, I mean, I don't.
I don't think queen when I look at you. But what is a queen? Like, what's the distinction?
What would make a queen? So when I think of queen, I think of glitter. I think of sequins. I think of diva. I think of, that just can't have it attitude.
Okay, I might know a few people like that. So I don't think I don't think that's you. Okay. Well, okay, we're going to read stories, and Howie is going to, even though I let my guest usually read stories first, I am going to read first this time. Is that what you want to do, Howie?
Yeah, I think you should read first this time,
okay.
Trevor.
So can you zoom it in a little bit?
How do I zoom it in?
Control key plus, Control plus.
Control plus. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, well, I'm going to read. Here,
all right.
Here we go. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the pad, not a creature was stirring, not even a lad. The stockings were all hung with a fabulous style, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon make them smile. The queens were all nestled, their lashes aglow, while visions of glam rocked the room down below. And Mama in her heels, and I in my bling, that was a weird sentence, had just settled down for a night of glitz and zing. When out of the street there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the shades to see what's the matter. Away to the window I leapt with a dash, tore open the curtains with a dramatic flash. That was funny. The moon on the snow gave soft, glowing hue. Okay, and the scene sparkled bright in glittering view. When what to my wondering eyes should appear, but a daddy bear Santa, so camp and so dear. He dressed in a gown, all sequined and grand, with a feathered boa and a sparkly hand. His cheeks were like roses, his beard full of flair, and he laughed and he twinkled and filled up the air. More fabulous than divas, his helpers arrived, and he whistled and he shouted, so glamorously jibed. Now Rufus, now Max, now Benny, now Lou, on Sam, on Charlie, on Eddie and Drew. Wait, are they pulling his sled?
I think they.
Okay.
I wonder what they're wearing.
Well, oh my gosh. Okay, closer to the mic. You're going to walk. Okay. And Eddie and Drew, to the top of the stage, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. All glitter that before a fan twirls and sways. When it meets with a bump, it sparkles and plays. So up on the rooftops, his crew took their flight, with a sleigh full of glam and Daddy Bear in sight. And then, in a twinkle, an interesting use of word, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of a tiny hoof. As I drew in my head and turned around, down the chimney Santa Bear came with a bound. He was dressed all in sequins from his head to his toes, and his outfit was topped with feather red rose. A bundle of gifts he had slung on his back, and he looked like a star with a glitzy knick-knack. His eyes now how they sparkled, his dimples so sweet. His cheeks were like rosy, his nose like a treat. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and his beard and his chin was white as the snow. The tip of his pipe was a glittery gem, and the smoke that he puffed had a rainbow hem. That's funny. His broad face and his belly shook like a bowl full of jelly and a fabulous look. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old bear, and laughed when he saw him, with style and with flair, with a wink of his eye, with a twist of his head, soon gave me to know I'd nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his scene, and filled the stockings with sequins and sheen, and laid his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sled, to his team gave a shout, and away they flew with fabulous flout. But I heard him explain as he vanished from sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Okay, it was decent.
It was pretty good. Read the prompt and see.
So
let's see how it.
Are these young men pulling his sled? Though?
I think they're
supposed to pull.
Are they young men or are they deer though?
Oh, I don't know. Well, it said hoof. Okay, right. Oh, why? I don't know why I thought they were young men. Write the words of a poem. Write the words to the poem. 'Twas a night before Christmas, except using a gay daddy bear as Santa in the story, and he is visiting drag queens' houses using many gay stereotypes as possible. Okay, there wasn't a ton of gay stereotypes.
I mean, there was the glitter and the sequins,
but all times, all the same stuff.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now we got to find one for you to read.
Okay,
let's see what we can come up with here. Okay, here I have one for you. You can try this one. I think it's a rhyming one too, actually.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
In the still of the night, when shadows stretched long, and whispers of wind croon a ghostly song, there came a bump, a thump, a scratch at the door, not a knock, but a claw, a screech, then no more. The cat, wide-eyed, did leap from its chair, hissing and spitting at nothing but air. The old clock struck 12 with a creaky old chime. A witch's hour, or just a bad time? But what of the noise, the dreadful creak? The floorboards groaned, or perhaps they squeaked. The monster was near, a terrible sight, or maybe just socks in the pale moonlight. A gust blew open the ancient old book. Its pages all yellowed gave the cat quite a look. Was it a spell, a curse, or just a sneeze? The ghost in the attic said, "Bless you, please." With a shiver, a quiver, and a most ghastly grin, the shadow on the wall did slowly begin to dance, to prance, to float like a feather, but it tripped on the rug in a clumsy tether. Laughter echoed through the hall so deep, the ghost in the attic just wanted to sleep. So next time you hear a scary night's din, remember the monster might just be tucked in. That was cute.
That was really cute.
Let's see what the prompt was. Write a dramatic prose verse about something scary, but in a funny way.
Okay. Grammar much on that one? Maybe I could. It's okay, people. I'm not a teacher in real life, so don't worry about that. I noticed that I seem to write, when I'm writing to write your, like, is this your bike? When I'm typing quickly, it comes out as you. Is this you bike?
Is this you bike?
Is this you bike? Or, yeah.
That sounds like some sort of a dialect.
Instead, instead I'm using the word supported. I used to write the word support a lot. Yeah, that sounds like a dialect. So the Irish, maybe it's the way, I could just say it's the way the Irish say it, right? Because, I can use that excuse for lots of things. So, okay, well, do you have another story for me?
I sure do, and it's all ready for you to go.
Am I going to like it?
I hope so.
Okay. I like most things you do, so it's okay. Okay, it was a crisp autumn evening, and Jenna was thrilled to host her friends for a cozy dinner party. She'd prepared a mouth-watering spread of her famous roast chicken, roasted vegetables, and the decadent chocolate cake. The wine was flowing, the music was upbeat, and her friend Todd had shown up right on time. Todd was always the life of the party. He had a notorious reputation for overstaying his welcome. Jenna had braced herself for this, but hoped for the best. The evening started off splendidly. Everyone was laughing and sharing stories and enjoying the feast. By 9 p.m., Jenna had begun to make subtle hints that it was nearing the end of the evening. She dimmed the lights. She started to clear the table. She put on some mellow music. "It's been such a great night," she said, "but I think we're about ready to wind down." Todd, however, seemed oblivious to the cues. "Oh, come on, we barely scratched the surface of fun," he exclaimed, stretching out on the couch and grabbing another slice of cake. Jenna's patience was wearing thin. But she decided to handle it with humor. She gave her friend a mischievous grin and said, "Hey, Todd, I just got a new board game that's supposed to be a blast. Want to play?" Todd's eyes lit up. "Board game? Awesome. What's it called?" Jenna, with a twinkle in her eye, said, "It's called The Great Escape. It's a game about trying to leave a party before everyone knows." It's a game about trying to leave a party before everyone knows.
Else.
Yeah. Knows. Before everyone else. Well, let me read the actual sentence that's written. Shall I go ahead and read it? Okay.
Yeah, try.
Yeah. It's a game about trying to leave a party before everybody else. Todd, excited and clueless, agreed enthusiastically. Jenna, now armed with a plan, gathered everyone around the coffee. Are people still there? I thought everybody else was gone. Jenna, now armed with a plan, gathered around the coffee table and pulled out the board game, which she had cleverly made out of old cardboard and colored paper. She knew this about Todd, I guess. As Todd and the other guests began playing, Jenna took on the role of game master, guiding them through the increasingly ridiculous scenarios. "You're stuck in the kitchen with a never-ending pile of dishes," she declared dramatically. "Roll the dice to escape." The game involved silly challenges like pretending to dodge invisible obstacles or creating ludicrous excuses to leave. Todd, completely engrossed, played along with a good gusto, failing hilariously at every turn. By the time the game had reached the final level, which Jenna had cleverly rigged to be the most ridiculous and most difficult, Todd was in fits of laughter. Jenna then gave him the ultimate win scenario. He had to take a bow, thank everyone for a wonderful evening, then announce his departure. Todd, laughing and cheering, took the cue and finally gathered up the things. "That was the best game ever," he said, oblivious to the true nature of the game. "Thanks for a great night, Jenna." As Todd walked out the door, Jenna and the remaining guests burst into laughter. She was such a relief. She sighed in relief and looked around. Like reading natural sentence. If I could actually read. She sighed in relief and looked around at the mess left behind. It had been a night of delightful chaos, but at least it ended on a high note. Jenna cleaned up the remnants of the evening with a smile, knowing she had handled Todd's unwittingly extended visit in a way that turned politely awkward situation into a memorable and funny story. The next time Todd came over, Jenna had the new game ready. The ultimate game of exit strategy, and a friendly reminder that sometimes humor is the best way to navigate the delicate art of guest etiquette. Okay, so let's read the prompt. Write a story about an oblivious house guest that overstays his welcome and can't seem to get the hint to leave your house and how to resolve the dilemma in a funny way. Okay, luckily that never happens to me. So that has never happened to me at all. Okay, so so hey, the next one's a script. Do you want to do a script?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, what you have are actual names in it. So when we do a script, we usually talk about the prompt first, right? Okay, so should we not talk about the prompt? Okay, let's just read it. Okay, so the characters are Howie and Trevor. Which one would you like to do?
How about I play Howie?
You play Howie?
Yeah. Hey, Trevor, guess what? I've got a new friend for you.
Oh, no, not again. What's this one's name? Howie's latest surprise?
Meet Sparky. He's got more energy than a triple espresso. Just look at that tail wagging.
That's great, Howie. But I've noticed a pattern here. Every time you bring home a new stray dog, it ends up being my problem to pay for. It's like you're running a charity out of my wallet, and then you get to play with it, and I'm the one paying.
Oh, come on. Sparky's just looking for a little love. Plus, he's really friendly. He's just like the others. Totally loves you.
Yeah, and by loves you mean he thinks my house is a playground, my furniture is a chew toy. Last week's dog left me with a broken lamp and a rug that looks like a crime scene.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. They're just enthusiastic. Besides, look at Sparky's eyes. He's got that please love me look. And it's like he's auditioning for a role in a sad puppy commercial.
And I'm the producer, paying for all the food, the vet bills, the new couch. Howie, you know my bank account is starting to look like the dog's chew toy too.
Hey, it's not my fault they prefer your house over mine. I'm just the messenger of canine affection. Besides, you're great with them. They're just showing their appreciation by turning your home into their personal playground.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't think my landlord is going to accept puppy love as rent payment. Next time, how about you keep your new friends with you? My wallet and I would be eternally grateful.
All right. But if you see Sparky's sad eyes again, just remember, I'm doing this to share the joy. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find it in your heart and your budget to make some room for one more.
If joy means replacing all my chewed up furniture, I think I'll pass. Thanks, Howie. You're a great friend, but you're a walking animal shelter. Yeah.
Anytime, Trevor. And if you need more puppy love or a new couch, I'm your guy. Just don't expect me to cover the tab.
Deal. And don't forget to check in with the shelter before dropping off another stray. My credit cards need a break.
Got it. I'll make sure the next quote-unquote gift is something less destructive. See you soon, Trevor.
Can't wait. I'll be here, hopefully with a new dog, without a new dog to wrangle.
You're the best. Give Sparky a scratch behind the ears for me.
Okay, let's read that prompt. Write a funny conversation between Howie and Trevor that is about how Howie keeps bringing Trevor stray dogs and only want to play with Howie, but Trevor ends up paying for all the strays. Yes, this has happened. Yeah, this has happened. So, okay, wow. Let's find one for. I I think it's for you now.
Okay, yeah,
Is that your turn?
my turn,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me see if we can find one here.
All right.
Okay. Well, I know you're a Star Trek fan.
Oh,
so
big Star Trek fan. Yes.
I am too, but I put one in for you that's Star Trek related.
Okay.
So let's see if you enjoy this one.
All right, I'm sure I will.
Okay.
Lieutenant Reginald Barclay stood at his console on the Enterprise D bridge, his fingers gliding over the controls with an automatic precision that came from years of practice. The hum of the ship, the soft beeps of the various instruments, the muted chatter of the crew. It was all so familiar, so routine. Yet recently, something felt off. It started with the deja vu. Every time he walked into the turbo lift, he knew exactly what would happen next. The door would swish shut, and the familiar voice would ask, "Deck, please." But it was more than just knowing. He felt like he'd been there before, like he was stuck in a loop. Then there were the conversations. They seemed scripted. People spoke in oddly formal tones, always getting to the point, always moving to the plot. No, not the plot, the conversation forward. It was as if they were all playing roles in some grand play with cues and marks that they unconsciously followed. But the most unsettling thing was the cameras. He first noticed it during a briefing with Captain Picard. As Picard outlined their latest mission, Barclay caught something out of the corner of his eye, a glint, a flash of light. He turned his head slightly, trying to see what it was, but there was nothing there. Still, the feeling persisted, as if an unseen eye was watching him, focusing on his every move. The next day, during a routine diagnostic in engineering, he felt it again. A sense of being observed, of being judged. He glanced around, but there was no one else in the room. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him, scrutinizing his every action. Barclay began to notice other things, the way certain events seemed to happen at just the right moment, like when the ship would shake from a sudden impact just as someone finished an important sentence. The way people always seemed to stand in just the right positions, facing the same direction, as if they were blocking a scene. And the way the music would swell dramatically during tense moments, even though there was no speakers in sight. One night, unable to sleep, Barclay sat alone in 10 forward, staring out at the stars. But the stars didn't seem quite real. They were too perfect, too consistent, like a painted backdrop. He reached out, almost expecting to feel a wall in front of him, but there was nothing there, just empty space. "Are you all right, Lieutenant?" Counselor Troy's voice pulled him from his thoughts. She sat down next to him, her dark eyes filled with concern. I don't know," Barclay replied, his voice trembling. "Have you ever felt like you're not really here? Like everything around you is just staged?" Troy frowned, studying him carefully. "Reginald, are you feeling disconnected from reality? It's not uncommon to feel this way under stress." Barclay shook his head. It's more than that. I keep seeing things that shouldn't be there, and everyone seems to be following some kind of script, like we're all characters in a story." Troy's expression softened. You've always had a vivid imagination, Reg. Maybe you're just tired, overworked." Barclay sighed, knowing she wouldn't understand. How could she? She was just another character, another player in this bizarre drama. But he knew, deep down, he knew that something was terribly wrong. He decided to test his theory. The next day, during a briefing in the observation lounge, Barclay deliberately messed up his lines. No, his words. He stuttered, stumbled, said things that didn't make sense. He watched the reactions of the others, expecting confusion and frustration. But instead, they simply waited. Picard and Riker exchanged a quick glance, and then Picard repeated his last line as if resetting the scene. The others nodded, and the conversation moved on as if nothing even happened. Barclay felt a chill run down his spine. It was true. They were all actors playing their parts in some grand cosmic production. And he was trapped, forced to play his role, even as he became more and more aware of the truth. But what could he do? How could he break free from his strange scripted existence? He tried talking to the others, dropping hints, but they either didn't understand or simply reset the scene whenever he deviated too far from the script. Desperate, Barclay began to experiment with his newfound awareness. He started predicting events, knowing exactly when the ship would be attacked, when the next crisis would hit. He even tried to walk off the set. No, the ship. But every time he reached the edge, he found himself back in the same familiar corridors, as if the universe itself wouldn't let him leave. The final straw came when he found it, the camera. It was hidden behind a panel in engineering, a small, unintrusive device that shouldn't have been there. He stared at it, his heart pounding, realizing that it was all real. They were watching him, recording his every move, his every word. In a moment of panic, he tore the camera from its hiding space and smashed it on the floor. The lights flickered, the ship shuddered, and then everything went dark. When he woke up, he was in sickbay. Dr. Crusher was standing over him and with a worried expression on her face. "Reg, you've had a breakdown," she said gently. "You're going to be all right, but you need to rest." Barkley wanted to scream, to tell her the truth, but he knew it was useless. She was just another character, another pawn in this twisted game. And as he lay there staring up at the ceiling, he wondered if he would ever escape. Maybe he was doomed to live out his days in this strange scripted reality, forever aware of the truth but unable to do anything about it. Or maybe, just maybe, he could find a way to break the script, to write his own lines, his own story. But that was a thought for another day. For now, all he could do was play his part and hope that one day he would find a way out of the show.
Cool. I want to talk about that a little bit more when we come back after the second half. It's kind of cool. Why don't you quickly read the prompt?
Oh, sure, yeah. Let's see. The prompt says, oh gosh, come on, where is it? Write a story about a member of Star Trek Next Generation bridge crew who begins to realize he's in a TV show and it became so obvious to him.
Okay. So we'll talk about this when we come back after break, but if you guys like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com. The website there has all the information you need about past shows and stuff like that. Come back after the break and we'll read more AI-generated stories.